Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi. And she yells, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running a theme park. And when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear a shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess who with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
Hey y'all, it's Squid. Welcome to my petty party. And yes, Timothy, you are 100% correct. It is a very petty party today. Sorry I'm a minute or two late. I have a big old thing of laundry that is right here that needs to be folded. So during the aviation stream, when we are watching the literal shit hit the fan with ATC, I will be folding laundry because that's what Mama Squid does when mom mode. When I mean shit here is literally hitting the fan, I mean shit here is literally hitting the fan. When I've been posting about needing a lawyer who is willing to sue a school district in Georgia, that is not a joke. There is a situation going on right now where my family is literally willing to sue the school district if a situation is not handled right. And I am in the process of getting an order of protection against for somebody else, working on talking to people about how to go about getting an order of protection in this county against certain people. Not so much for the person that the order of contact would be against, but third-party contact, because this is what happens when you threaten people, and you actually threaten people, and you threaten the wrong fucking bitch. So this is what happens when you mess with the wrong fucking family, by the way. And hey Chris, time for some fun. Yeah, it will be fun. But forewarning you, this is what happens if you fuck with the wrong fucking family, by the way. You're early for a change. I am late for a change. But I scheduled the stream early, so there's that. But I didn't sleep last night because I didn't get home till 9:45. And then I was hungry, so stupid me went to freaking Five Guys before I got home. Scarfed down Five Guys and then couldn't sleep. Just a burger, just a regular burger, nothing fancy, like no fries, no nothing. But I needed iron. If you know, you know. But this is the one time when I get to eat a big ass fucking burger and not feel bad about it. Downside is when I eat that late, I'm up all night. And then Spawn was streaming because he couldn't sleep either. So I was in his chat for a little while, and then Shizzy was streaming, and then the expert was streaming. And even though I didn't participate in those chats, like I was attending to the situation at hand. So I didn't fucking sleep for shit. And I didn't get to go to the gym this morning because I overslept, which means since I didn't go to the gym, I didn't bring trash to the curb because Mr. Squid never does that shit when he leaves at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we didn't get our trash picked up this week. So there's that. Just a great fucking day today. Uh, hey, April's Crochet and More. How are you? And hey, Heidi, thanks for doing all your mod, super mod stuff. Oh, oh, just got done with lunch. So if I feel shaking where you live, I'm sleeping and snoring. Well, you know. And Kasha, hey, how are you? Faith says it all. And I'm sorry if I don't say hi to each and every one of you. Y'all know I love you guys. Even the haters, you know. And I'm Debbie, I'm so sorry. I really hope that she starts feeling better and that's really Carrie Kennedy, good morning. I had mama scare today with the school bus stop shooting in Louisville. My son is principal at a high school there. Do you think the school mentioned school name? No, it wasn't his school. Oh, and I sometimes like I'm in some ways I'm like glad they don't mention the like specifics because it protects the people involved, but at the same time there's situations like you when you need specifics to make sure that it's not your family or your family's school, and then you're like, I need specifics so I can understand both sides of the call Shizzy's wife. Yeah, I was either thinking about Shizzy's wife or but I don't want like this has nothing to do with YouTube stuff. This is in real life stuff. So I was like thinking about it, but I also didn't want to get Shizzy's wife involved in stuff. So, but you know, how are you? What the heck did I walk in? Who started junk with you? Not me. But Mama Squid. I think Larry Foreman has Georgia friends that do Pro Hawk VJ. I'm yeah, I scarfed down Five Guys. Burgers and fries. A cheeseburger. Cheeseburger. Because I needed a cheeseburger. Hey, Lurking Meowth, how are you? Oh my goodness. All right, so we are going to get into this. First things first, Pacer update from the bankruptcy case. The bankruptcy case has a new lawyer on behalf of Jeremy. His name is Dennis Levine. I was going to say Lynch, and that's not right. Dennis Lynch is somebody, somebody else. But, so I didn't mean to like freak y'all out, and I wasn't trying to be clickbaity with the title. I apologize if it's sounded like that, but I made this stream and then I checked the bankruptcy documents and I saw it's one thing that I would just mention if it was just a notice of appearance. But this is where it got interesting to me because I've had people ask questions, and even I've asked questions about this homestead exemption. Well, this is where it gets interesting on behalf of Jeremy, and this is where the new lawyer, I think, made a really good move. His first move as Jeremy's lawyer. And I'm going to start with this because it's only a page, and it was filed yesterday. So it is the literal latest and greatest. Everything else we're going to talk about, y'all have probably heard and or seen on other channels. I just haven't talked about it yet because this NTSB stuff has been taking up all my time. I am only 2 or 3 hours into the second day of testimony. There's 3 days of 10 hours of testimony. We are only 2.5 to 3 hours into the second day. It's a lot. And we haven't even gone over any of the docket in that thing. And it's all posted on the NTSB's website, and it's 205 docket entries. Paperwork. But there's transcripts and there's interesting things that I want to go through that are thousands of pages long. I got content and content and content. However, people have been asking about this homestead because there's no technical home. I don't know Florida law. I am not a lawyer, never claimed to be one. So when people have asked me this question, I have had no idea. However, Angel, this is where there's some more in there. Here, you want to come up here? Okay, bye. There is some more information in here. It's only a page, but it still is, it's worth it to me. This is in regards to the bankruptcy. Objection to debtor's claims of exemptions regarding the homestead. Comes now the moment Jeremy Hales, by and through undersigned counsel and pursuant to Bankruptcy Rule 4003, objects to debtor's claims of exemption regarding the homestead real property and states the follows. The debtor filed Chapter 7 on July 8th of 25. In Schedule C, the debtor lists a 50% interest in real property as exempt homestead. Oh, my microphone's cutting out. Oh no. Please say I don't have freaking internet issues today. It is like 110 degrees outside, so, I claim a homestead exemption for my home in Alabama. It's my primary residence, which gives you a discount on property taxes. I'm assuming Florida has a similar law. West in Bama, yes, I'm assuming they do too, because I'm assuming most states do. However, one thing that I can almost guarantee that you have versus what I've seen in pictures from Otter Creek is you have a home. You have a home. I would assume. I don't know. I don't know you in person, but like I would assume that you have a home. So that might be the major difference with why he is objecting to this and you get it. Yeah, a house. Yeah, figure that out. Figure that one out. No homestead in Florida without a residence. Yeah. Oh, you have 30 acres. I'm so jealous. I would love 30 acres. I would love to be able to go out onto my front porch and not see anybody else. Nobody, not a road, not a house, not a person, not a car. I want to be able to see a car come up my driveway and like wonder who is coming to my house. Not go, oh, that's, just a car driving by. Like, yeah. First 25,000 comes off your property taxes, no house required. Well, we're going to get into this because he's a Florida lawyer. I'm not. So we'll see what he has to say. Because I was always curious about the homestead. Isn't part of a homestead is a home? And yeah. According to the public records, the real property is located at that, where everybody knows it. It's public record, is within a municipality and exceeds a half acre, listed at 1.66 acres. Upon information and belief, the property does not contain a livable structure. Based on the foregoing, the real property is not legally exempt as a homestead. Wherefore, the movement requests this court enter an order sustaining his objection to the debtor's claims of exemption regarding the homestead property and for such other relief as the court deems just and reasonable. I think that's what everybody was thinking. And now it's in writing. And see, it's one of those things of like, we can all talk about it. And I've heard a bunch of people kind of the same thing as in the federal 1 and 2 cases. Well, doesn't the judge know about this? Doesn't the judge think about this? The judge doesn't know shit. Same with the bankruptcy. The judge cannot go and investigate Lynette just because she filed for bankruptcy. The judge only gets what the creditors say, the creditors' lawyers say, and what Lynette says. And he has to sort out or he or she, I don't know who the judge is in this. They have to sort out what is the truth and where the facts are in that. And then go from there. So I am so glad that Jeremy got himself a lawyer and put this in writing. How is she going to claim a homestead exemption with no home? So it's what everybody was thinking, because I'm sure even people on the anti what the Hales side were probably like, how are you going to claim a homestead exemption with no home? Whether they said it or not, I don't know. But you you know what I mean? Like, you just, yeah. And hey, Tamara, how are you? It's good to see you. I just checked the county website and they do have homestead status. Yeah, here's the thing. You can claim homestead status. I think you have a year. And don't, Jeff, you might know more about this. Well, you not might know. You do know more about this. So I believe in Florida you have a year or a certain time frame. Don't quote me on the time frame, but I believe you have a certain amount of time frame from claiming that, buying a property and claiming homestead exemption to place a livable structure on the property. So yeah, and West and Bama, you can buy a used manufactured home for cheap, and all the money they pissed away could have been spent on a decent used single wide. Yeah, they have companies around here that are specific in manufactured homes, but like you can go and you can say, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that, I want this, and they will build a manufactured home for you. So they will build you a double wide to your specifications. Like, so yeah, I'm confused by this too. The value of building is zero, so no home to value. 90 days if you're living on the property. Thank you, Diane. And there's people who, y'all in the chat, one of the reasons I love talking to you, even though some people in the comment section on replay get annoyed with me, y'all know more about Florida law. A lot of you are in Florida. A lot of you have researched more than me. I read the court documents and I make my decisions based on what the judge sees. So I don't pay attention to a lot of the outside stuff. One, because I don't have the time. And two, because I am trying to take it from a different approach than other people. And that's not to discount what everybody else does. That is just how I'm trying to be different from everybody else. Because if I were the same as everybody else, there's thousands of YouTube channels. If I did the same thing as everybody else all the time, why watch me? So I'm trying to take it from only what the documents say and only what the judge says. So from a Florida law perspective, y'all know more about behind the scenes. I take it from what goes on behind the scenes and then compare it to what's in the documents. And when people say, well, what about this? Well, it's not in any of the documents, so the judge doesn't know. And I'm so glad when I saw this, like, I got so happy because I was like, of all this stuff I've seen with this bankruptcy, I'm like, thank God somebody finally asked, well, or put in a public record, in the court record, why is she claiming a homestead exemption when she doesn't have a home? So, yeah, it's good, darling. Court docs, us in the chat, no drama, truth, fact. Oh, thanks, Molly. You know I love you. Permanent residence by January 1st. That means the vacation home rental properties are not eligible. Interesting. Yeah. And Peter, how are you today? A double wide would have been cheaper than a half-built barn. Yeah, I haven't looked up the manufactured homes like in this area, how much they cost. But my in-laws live in a double wide with a foundation, but it's like it has a fireplace, like it has a deck, like you wouldn't know if it was a double wide if you didn't like judging from the inside, you wouldn't know that it was a double wide. It does not look like a manufactured home. So I have, what is it? Like How are you, knocked offler? Oh my goodness. And I'm sorry if I don't recognize some of your names because of YouTube changing how they're doing stuff. Like some people I know because their names are close or I've seen their names in other places. But some of y'all, if I don't recognize you, I do apologize. It's not on purpose. Florida Department of Revenue defines homestead exemption as a tax benefit per property owner's residence. Yes. Yes. No drama llamas allowed. Yeah. So a double wide also has rooms or 3 bedrooms, a bathroom, living space. Yes. Yes. Hey, how are you? Finally caught alive. Yeah, I'm a little early today, so I have no idea. They're using your handles and your at names and not your screen names. So like when you click on your own channel, like if you go to your own pages and you see like mine says Squid Pro Quo, well, my at is Squid Pro Quo 1. Now whatever chat I'm in, it'll be at Squid Pro Quo 1. So it doesn't have your like when people change their names to like if people change their names, remember the Laura Owen case, like Laura Owen, like I can fix her, or people would change their names to Laura Owen's twins or stuff like that, but still have the same like at. So you go to their channel and you would see it was the same person. They just changed their like screen name. There is no more screen names, and I don't know why, but I'm thinking it might have to do with that. Yeah, keyword is residence, not tent, not trailer. Yep, and title, you can change your handle name by going to your profile and selecting edit. Yep, that is true. So this is only 2 pages or 1 page and then the certificate of service. That was filed last night. We are going to get into stuff that was filed last week. A lot of you have seen it. I heard about it a couple of days ago, but I didn't read it on a stream because other things, life. We're going to start with this one. And to make it bigger for you guys, I can go like this. There we go. And I don't have my my chat open, so I'm gonna open up chat so I can see you guys, because there's a difference sometimes between the and there's a delay between the live chat and what I see in StreamYard. So I'm going to please do balloons. I'm gonna try. It may or may not work. There we go. Usually it works when I'm not paying attention. And Debbie, this is for you. If it works. Those are the only 2 I know how to do. Oh, it will be to do with the age verification that's hitting most counties that will require an ID to verify accounts. Yeah. Lynette has no standing. Yeah, The law applies to various property types, including single-family homes, condos, mobile homes, manufactured, and even long-term leases, as long as they serve as a primary residence. Yeah, key words with that is home. Like, oh, Zach. Oh, Zach, how are you? How is my favorite fat shamer today? I did not work out. I slept in. But I will be doing probably watching after Mr. Squid goes to bed tonight, pulling the walking pad out of the closet and doing some stuff. My hip is a little hurting today, but it's not bad. Do a double thumbs up. It's your birthday month. What's a double thumbs up? Oh, look at that. Y'all, I told you I'm not good at this stuff sometimes. Fat shaming incoming. Zach, I need it, but it's also eat a cheeseburger to get your iron numbers up, if you know what I mean. So if I'm a little attitudey today, I apologize. Blame it on Mother Nature. Wrong document. All right. Oh, RJ, right. Thank you. It's a long-standing joke, even from before I had my channel. Like we're going on like 3 years now of Zach being like Zach and I going back and forth. It's a long-standing joke. I had to even explain it to my dad. Um, uh, here you go, Zach. You can have your wrench back. Like, and just know I didn't take his wrench. It was he asked for me to take it away for temporarily. So I told him he could have it back whenever he wanted it, and now he's got it back. So, all right. So it's a long-standing joke. I even had to explain it to my dad because my dad was gonna defend me. And it was like, nope, Zach. Zach is my favorite fat shamer. It goes back to the days when Megan only had like 9,000 subscribers. Like it goes way back. And RJ, right? Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I just like to let people know that like it's not a Squid and I had a disagreement. She was wrong, but I love her anyways. And I'm not always right about things. I'm not always right. Oh, and Zach, and speaking of that, like, yeah, yeah. If things could go a different way with that, yeah. All right. Defendant Robert Kezi's motion to quash service in the alternative motion to extend time. Defendant Robert Kezi, pro se, respectfully moves this court to quash the purported service of process and to dismiss the action for lack of personal jurisdiction pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 1.14b and as ground states. Hmm. I wonder who wrote this. Hey, Joanne. I wonder who wrote this because I'm sorry, like I've not listened to Kezi speak a lot. But this is not him. Oh, I've been listening to his book at work. And I went from listening to dark psychology to listening to David Goggins. And that's why if you look at my last short, I use David Goggins audio and I can't be monetized on that stream or on that short because he says bitch within like 2 seconds, or he says the F-bomb within like 2 seconds. Whoops. All right. Intro. Plaintiff has failed to properly serve defendant as required by Florida law. Pushback on that. Y'all remember that it was taped to his fence, right? I believe in Florida, if it's taped and he recorded it. He took a picture of it taped to his fence. Sorry to say, but you acknowledged that you saw it. That's enough in most states to accept it. Florida, I do not know. So do not quote me, but in a lot of states, that is, you acknowledged it. You saw it, you acknowledged it. Like, he probably got an email from Armenia. Yeah. Barbara on a bike. Hey, hate to tell him, but Shara's recent YouTube post proves defendant's daughter did receive the summons. Yeah. Yeah. She touched it. Yep. And that might be yep. And if she touched it, I hate to break it to you. Yeah. This is the guy that Mrs. works at the cop station. This is also the guy that did, I believe, 12 months in federal prison for smuggling of reptiles. So so there's that. There is cops body cam, dude screwed. Yeah, body cams don't lie. The process server's affidavit contains false statements, including the allegation that defendant's daughter personally received the summons on July 15th, 2025. If she touched it, Then if she touched it, then she received it. That's This did not occur. Instead of effecting proper service, plaintiff's agent engaged in improper conduct, including taping documents to a gate and making no personal contact with defendant or his daughter. As a result, the court lacks personal jurisdiction over defendant, and this action must be dismissed or service quashed. And to me, if I were the judge and I was looking at this, when Jeremy has said in the past that he's been evading service, you take everything that someone says with a grain of salt. You're like, okay, I understand you think he's been evading service, but has he really initially? Like, when someone says something, you want to believe them, but you always look at it with a little hint of skepticism. But he literally puts it in his own motion that it was taped to a fence. He saw it. Like, he's literally telling on himself. Which makes me think that Bruce is writing these motions for people because Bruce always had a bad habit of giving information that would tell on himself. And y'all can feel free to disagree with me on that one, but like, I mean, he tells on himself. Yeah, don't forget the car chase. But the car chase was in the affidavit. The car chase was not written by Robert Kesey. So so far in this, all we have is Kesey telling on himself that he saw it taped to a gate. Like, you're telling on yourself. And hey, Sarcastic, and hey, Glory Bird, how are you guys? It's so like, oh my God. The idiocy is there. Yeah, it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Comments. It's clearly Lisa Lee wrote it because she's clearly the best lawyer ever. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. Factual background. The facts are set forth in detail. Attached declaration of Robert Kesey, Exhibit A, incorporated herein by reference in summary. On July 15th, 2025, defendant was pursued by an unknown vehicle after leaving his home. The vehicle's driver made no attempt to communicate or serve defendant, despite multiple opportunities. Stopping at a red light is not an opportunity to serve you. Getting out of your car at a red light is dangerous. Just a thought. Yeah, great defense to say you were actively avoiding service, to say you didn't know you were being sued while actively writing while you were actively like writing responses to the lawsuit. I finally went to the Lee's channel just to see what people were talking about. Wow, she has a creating voice. Yeah, I have nothing. And see, this is where I'm torn because I don't like anybody to talk negatively about anybody else because in the sense of, I don't tell anybody who they can and cannot watch. I don't tell anybody like that because that's when you're telling someone what other YouTube channel to watch or to not watch or to unsubscribe to, you are affecting that person's business. So when someone says, go unsubscribe to Squid, she sucks, that person is literally affecting my income because I am monetized. And that is one of the things that Jeremy is suing for. So therefore, when I saw that advantageous business relationship or interference with business relationships and talking about his subscribers as business relationships, I thought about that. And that could be, if you want to be technical about it, could be you go and tell someone that another YouTuber sucks and you unsubscribe to them. That could be a suable offense depending on how this lawsuit goes. That's why I don't do it. However, Lisa, I will never be nice to her because she talked about my kid. Bubbles, I will never be nice to her because she talked about my kid. Milltown's worst. I will never be nice to him because he accused me of things that I did not do. So those three people, among others, I will never be nice to. I will always call her Fleesa or Thunder Cunt because that's where Thunder Cow came from. It's the baby squid version, friendly version of um the see you next Tuesday. But yeah. And hey, not good with names. How are you? Telling people not to watch Lisa Lee, you are defending people's ears. You're a hero, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I just don't do that. 'Cause I make it a habit because if I don't do it with one person, I don't do it with anybody else. And if people want to be with as many people as are sue happy these days and ending up with their names in lawsuits, I am pretty proud that I have not been put in a lawsuit. Like, and Cynthia, how are you? And Zach, be nice. That's another inside joke going back years as well. So Zach is not mean. Well, Zach, go kiss a fish. uh, the trailing vehicle was eventually stopped by law enforcement, who informed defendant only after the fact that the driver claimed to be a process server. Defendant was never personally served. Later that evening, defendant's daughter arrived home to find an unfamiliar vehicle in the driveway and legal papers taped and wrapped around the gate. She did not receive, accept, or otherwise come into possession of the summons or complaint. The process server never spoke with or approached defendant's daughter. If she saw that they were on the fence, she took them off the fence or off the gate and brought them inside. Hate to break it to you. Yeah, Zach is being Zach. Zach is being Zach. And we love him for that. There's no age shaming. I asked for the fat shaming. It keeps me accountable. Not as much as I need to be accountable, but that's part of posting the videos too. It's not for attention. It's to keep me accountable, because if y'all hold me accountable and comment and, share it, then the next time I post a video, y'all can be like, that was the same weight you lifted last time. What's going on, lady? It's accountability. So, oh, she didn't bring them inside. She threw them on the ground. Oh, then she knew exactly what she was doing. Oh, 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 oh. She took them off the gate, threw them on the ground like it was dirty undies. Oof. And thanks for the background and the context, because context is everything. The server's affidavit falsely states defendant daughter received the summons. She touched it. It all depends on the law in Florida and what the law in Florida says. And I'm pretty sure that Jeremy is going to tell us. Like, yeah, she still had hands on. And that's where the state law comes into place, because I don't know Florida law enough to know, but I'm sure that Jeremy's lawyer will tell us. As long as they didn't need to talk to her, as long as she was 15 or older, he was served. And all she had to do was touch it. And every state's different, so yeah. I'm scared. If scared, why did the police not take it off? Yes, when people are saying lately, and in 2025, people have a very warped version of what scared is. Scared would be someone tells you they're going to kick your ass at work and has 2 adult sons that are known to carry concealed weapons. That would be a reason to be a little bit scared. Not like I've seen that happen anytime recently, but foreshadowing. But if Jeremy's we have Jeremy's response too. So we're gonna read Jeremy's response next, and if Jeremy's response doesn't have the exact law, I will look it up. But yeah, thank you, Robbie, for asking the cops to record her receiving any. I know, right? I saw it. It popped up on my my like stream on my TV this morning, but I had not watched it. Life took over. Um, she looked more terrified of accepting the papers her dad was dodging than scared of the process server's presence. Yeah, that could be a you know. You will never see me fat shaming. One of my close friends was over 600 pounds when I met her. She is down to 280. And Zach's fat shaming is like a make sure you work out today. Because Mr. Squid, not that he's not a bad person by any means, but if I don't want to work out that day, he doesn't care. If I want to work out that day, he doesn't care. He doesn't care either way. But the man is 5'11" and like 150 pounds. So he's got nothing to worry about as far as the gym goes. Whereas, yeah. So, you know. Mm. So it's in jest, and it's not a, trust me, Zach could not be a mod on my channel if he was mean fat shaming me. But it's more like a Ricada fat shame, where it's like, and I think that's where it came from. Megan was playing Ricada's fat shaming squats video, and Zach was in there, and I said something to him, and I said, Zach, I need to be a fat shamer, and somehow he became my personal fat shamer. So it is what it it is what it is, and here we are like 3 years later. Or because at that time I had just had baby squid, and it's a version of the Nick Ricada fat shame, but I see Zach a lot more than, and Nick Ricada has no idea who I am. Yes, the old Ricada fat shame. I would love to weigh 143 pounds. That's my goal weight, 140 pounds. All right, let's get back into this before I get hate mail. We're rage quitters. The server's affidavit falsely states that defendant's daughter received the summons. This is categorically untrue and contradicted by both defendant's sworn statements and the available evidence, but not the law, if we're understanding the law correctly. At no time was defendant personally served with the summons or the complaint as required by Florida law. This is where having a lawyer or not having a lawyer is not helpful. And I appreciate that. However, I understand that my channel is only a year and a half old, and just because I was in people's chats long before and they might have said hi to me, that doesn't mean they know who I am. Or just because they are friends with people I talk to and they know people I talk to doesn't mean that they know who I am, and that's okay. Like, hey, damn your hubby for loving you, not your body. Oh, yeah, and I don't get mad at him for that. But sometimes I need that extra little push of like, I don't want to do this. And my friends all have full-time jobs and are going back to school for more education. Like one of my best friends is going back to school for her PhD and is active duty military. One of my other friends works at the high school as a teacher or teacher's assistant and is going back to school for more education so she can be a full-fledged teacher, not a para. And she is and has they both have 2 children. So they are busy all the time, and it's like sometimes I need that push. Can we take it back to her head, please? No. Is that your hat? No. That's your hat. No, not over your face, ma'am. No. No. No, no, no. No, no. I'm gonna take it away if you put it over your head like that. No. Wait, what? I don't hate you. And what is all right. A personal service is required. Florida law requires that service of a process be made personally upon the defendant in a manner authorized by state statute. See Florida Statute 48.031, a Sherman v. Atlantic Mortgage and Investment Corporation, Florida 2001. Strict compliance with the statutes governing service of process is essential. by leaving papers on a gate or falsely claiming substitute service is not valid service. Hmm. Hmm. Are you calling David Goggins your personal fat shamer? And when I had a Google Voice number, Zach would leave me voicemails of David Goggins' voice motivation speeches. So let's let that sink in. Service is not accomplished by merely leaving or taping documents to a gate, fence, or other location outside the presence of the defendant or a qualifying person. That's your hat? Yes. Okay, as long as it doesn't cover your face, you're good. It covers your face and I'm taking it away. Nope. There you go. Like, see Floyd v. Federal National Mortgage Association. You can go get it. You're a big girl. Boy. Florida 5th District Court of Appeals, 1998. There must be a delivery to the person to be served. My thing with using court cases from almost 30 years ago is, has the law changed in 30 years? There must be a delivery to the person to be served. Substitute service on a resident family member may only be accomplished if that individual is at least 15 years old, he just says it. Substitute service on a resident family member may be only accomplished if that resident is at least 15 years old, resides at the defendant's usual place of abode, and receives the process. Oh my God, don't ignore your kid. I am leaving. When she throws something on the ground and wants me to pick it up, there's, yeah. And I know, Chris, you're joking, but it's one of those things of like, there's the difference between like, y'all. Y'all. Like, she threw it on the ground. She can get off the chair and pick it up her damn self. Yeah, she is older than 15. It's yeah. Here, not only was no such delivery made to defendant's daughter, but the process server's affidavit falsely claims that she was personally served. She touched it. This is directly contradicted by defendant's sworn statement and the circumstances described. Yeah, from the above, it says she was 18 and the sheriff seen her get them. Yep, served. Oh, I know. And I know. It's one of those things of like when she was younger and like she would throw a temper tantrum and I'd see her, she threw something, she would want me to get it. She threw a temper tantrum. And people in the comments would be like, you let your daughter cry. No, I let a 2-year-old learn that she cannot just throw a temper tantrum every time she doesn't get her way. She told police she was 21 when asked. Yeah. 257 watching and only 94 likes. Please tap that like button. The only question is, does she live there? And it sounds like it. Sounds like it. All right. Process service affidavit is contradicted by evidence. A return of service that is impeached by clear and convincing evidence may be disregarded by the court. See Johnson v. Halliday, 3rd District Court of Appeals, 1987. Sorry, you're dealing with a 38-year-old case. Defendant's sworn statement, Exhibit A, police records, and his daughter's account demonstrate the process server's affidavit is materially false and that no valid service occurred. Give her our best. If you are the praying type, please add Debbie Webb's mom to your prayer list because everybody, even if you're not the praying type and you're just the positive vibes and good thoughts, positive vibes your way, Debbie. Yeah, My heart goes out to you. Plaintiff's delay in abusive process. Plaintiff's delay. Plaintiff's delay. Yeah, it's the plaintiff's fault. Yeah. Uh, uh, was there a substituted service from the judge? I think I, I don't remember if there was a substitute service, but we can look. Plaintiff waited to the last possible moment to attempt service, then misrepresented both the nature of the service attempt and the result, while simultaneously seeking further extensions. This pattern of delay and misinformation should not be rewarded by the court. Conclusion: because defendant was never properly served and the process server's affidavit is demonstrably false, this court lacks personal jurisdiction over him. The purported service should be quashed and the case dismissed as to defendant Kezi. In the alternative, the court should the court determine that service was proper or require a responsive pleading before ruling on this motion, defendant respectfully requests an extension of 30 days from the date of this court's order to file an answer or other responsive pleading to the complaint. Good cause exists for such an extension as defendant has acted diligently and in good faith to challenge improper service and preserve his rights. And hey, Ozark Teller, how are you? Yeah, I really hate this at thing too. These people and their claim that Jeremy delays when they constantly do anything they can to delay this stuff drives me. Yeah, it drives me nuts. I just. When that whole thing. Oh, Jeremy's delaying. Uh-huh. Yeah. It's a good try, but a big fat fail. Yes. I don't want to go to court, and you can't make me. Yeah. Delay and gaslight. Sounds like the last government. Oh. But do you notice? Okay, and here, okay. Sorry, this is the first time that I've made it this far in this thing. Look at this text and look at this. Wherefore, defendant respectfully requests the court quash service on process of Robert Kezi and dismiss this action for lack of personal jurisdiction. And when I first looked at this, I was like, quash. And then I'd think about it. Quash is an actual legal definition. So anybody that wanted to, like, when I first heard it, I was like, what? It just sounds funny, but it actually is a legal definition. But like, why is this in a different text? Why is this bolded and this is not? Well, yeah, but guess what? Hindsight's 2020 and people are dumb. Yeah, it sounds like all government. Yeah. Oh, did you know the FAA has 45,000 employees? By the way, sounds like that's a little bit too many. Exhibit A, statement of Robert Kezi regarding improper service and lack of personal jurisdiction. I, Robert Kezi, submit the statement. Let me clutch my pearls while I do this. In support of my motion to quash for lack of personal jurisdiction due to improper service of process, the process service affidavit is materially false, and the plaintiff's service attempts were improper and did not comply with requirements of Florida law. As such, I am not subject to the jurisdiction of this court. On July 15th, I returned home from Miami after picking up my son for a hunting trip. As I left my driveway, I noticed a vehicle with dark tinted windows pulled abruptly behind me and proceeded to tailgate my truck. The plaintiff falsely states my vehicle is an SUV. The process server's affidavit falsely describes my vehicle as an F-150. In fact, I was driving my truck, which is an F-250. I'm an F-150 and an F-250, like, just looking at it, size is the only difference. Like, Jesus, Pete. The vehicle followed me closely, crossing multiple lanes of traffic and made no attempt to communicate or signal their purpose at stop signs or traffic lights. That's because that's unsafe. There was absolutely no eye contact whatsoever. You did say, okay, dark tinted windows. Dark tinted windows, no eye contact. If they had dark tinted windows, how if you had dark tinted windows, or if the vehicle following you had dark tinted windows, how did you make eye contact? Yeah, this gives me sovereign citizen vibes. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, fearing for both my and my son's safety, I deliberately altered my route through Bushnell, Florida, making several turns to confirm that I was being followed. The trailing vehicle continued to pursue me because he was following you home. Concerned, I contacted the sheriff's department, who dispatched deputies and ultimately stopped the vehicle. At no point did the driver identify himself or attempt to serve me with any papers. After deputies contacted the trailing vehicle, I continued with my plans. His F-150 probably has a bed cap. So from a distance or from the right angle. After approximately 20 minutes later, a deputy called to inform me that the person following me was attempting to serve me legal papers, and I asked if I would return to the scene. Given I was already on the turnpike, I did not feel safe. I declined. You right there. You knew they were trying to serve you and you evaded service. Thank you for putting that in an affidavit. Why do people tell on themselves? Why do people tell on themselves? Yeah, Deborah, you bring up a really good point. He dodged every time he tried to serve him. Man up. And even the deputies said they were attempting to serve legal papers and asked if I would return to the scene. I declined. You literally just said that you evaded service. Why do people tell on themselves? Oh my goodness. Hey baby girl, can you do me a favor? One, never get yourself in a situation like this, and two, if you are, please never be this stupid. But I know you're smarter than that, right, baby girl? Right? Are you smart? Yeah, you're smart. Later that evening, my daughter called me in distress. When she arrived home after dark, she found an unfamiliar vehicle parked in our driveway, blocking access. Legal papers had been taped and wrapped around our gate, preventing her from entering the property. That makes no sense. Legal papers had been taped and wrapped around our gate, preventing her from entering the property. So paperwork prevented you from entering the property, because if you touched the paperwork, you've been served. And you knew that. So that sounds like another evasion of service. Thank you, Dan. F-250 and F-150. And I should know this, not the no cap on it, but the F-250 and F-150 are the same size truck. One is a half ton and one is a 3/4 ton. I should know that. I see enough Fords around here. Fords are the South Georgia and Southeast Georgia like go-to. There's a Ford dealership in every damn near dinky little town. Like, yeah, even the cops were like, I'm not getting in the middle of it. uh the deputies thought it was a successful service and begrudgingly admired the tactic. Yeah, so how did he know that, or how did he know they were legal papers? Yeah, paperwork and painter's tape. Mm-mm. My daughter was frightened and called me for help. I contacted the police, who arrived, then ordered the individual to leave and remained on site while my daughter safely entered the property, which means she touched the papers, which means that she acknowledged them. The property is both our home and an animal sanctuary. Aren't there laws about how close an animal sanctuary can be to your home? Security and controlled access are essential, and any uninvited presence is a threat to both people and animals. At no point was I personally handed any legal documents, nor was there any valid substitute service. The act of taping papers to our gate did not constitute proper service under Florida law, particularly as it caused a disturbance. Prevented access, painter's tape, and paperwork do not prevent gate access. A box with a 45-pound weight plate in front of your gate that prevents you from actually opening the gate, that prevents access. Ask me how I know. Climbing fences and moving boxes before I could get into my own house, but that's neither here nor there. Prevented access and left my family feeling unsafe in their own home. Despite these facts, plaintiff Jeremy Hales posted a video online mocking me as Dodgy Robbie, because you are. Like, I don't watch a whole lot of Jeremy Hales content just because the storage stuff just is not for me. Like, I used to watch a lot of fishing content and oh crap, what's his name? Robert Turkla, until he started doing storage stuff. And when he started doing storage stuff, he just lost my interest. That's just not my kind of content. People can do it. Some people love it. I'm just not one of those people. But I have seen him call you Dodgy Robbie because if this shoe fits. And falsely claiming I have been served simply because the police told him I was being followed by a process server. This is untrue and no valid service occurred. Furthermore, plaintiff waited 144 days since filing the complaint and 54 days after the initial 90-day service period expired before making this aggressive and inappropriate attempt to serve me. Plaintiff request for yet another extension is based on misrepresentation to the court that diligent attempts were made when service was attempted only twice. On June 30th at a place that I was not present, and on July 15th of 2025. Both times in response to an order to show cause. This pattern suggests that plaintiff is using the service process for delay and harassment. Why would, and this is what I don't understand. Why would Jeremy want to delay a case that he brought up? Only losers want to delay. Winners want shit to be done and over with, and they want their result, and they want to move on with their lives. Only losers want to delay shit. Rather than to properly prosecute this case. For all above reasons, the court lacks personal jurisdiction over me, and the attempted service was invalid. I respectfully request that the court quash purported service and dismiss this action. On this 5th day of August, 2025, I declare under penalty of perjury. Ooh, that would be that state would be true to the best of my knowledge. And then affidavit of Piper, his daughter. I am over 18 and I'm competent to make this affidavit. On July 15th, I arrived at our home. At no point did I was unable to enter the property immediately because there was something wrapped around the gate. You mean you can't open the gate because something was wrapped around the gate? Oh, that painter's tape, man. That, but content, yeah. Like, most people don't have a shit ton of other things to make content about. Like most people don't have a shit ton of other content. It might not be as dramatic, but or as ridiculous. But most people have a shit ton of other content. Like, no. I did not personally receive a summons or complaint relating to this case, nor did anyone attempt to hand me any legal papers. I felt unsafe due to the unfamiliar vehicle and contacted my father, who then contacted law enforcement. The police arrived and instructed the individual to leave and remain until I was able to access the property. And here's the thing. If she felt so unsafe, why didn't she call the cops? Oh, because the cops would have said you're being served. Whereas your dad has the ability to go, oh, by the way, I'm being served and wanted to evade it. No. No. Here. Here, beautiful. There you go. There you go. I have reviewed the process server's affidavit and in stating that I was personally handed the summons. This is false. No. I was never served with any legal documents on July 15th or at any other time. I make this affidavit in support of my father's motion to quash service of process and to inform the court of the process service affidavit is incorrect. Y'all, this is like, yeah. The cop even said where to pull, and the paperwork looked like it was in plastic. Yeah, it was in plastic because it's Florida and it rains all the damn time for out of nowhere. It can be fine 1 minute and a downpour the next. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Tickle, tickle, tickle. Yeah. Watch out, Squid. Baby Squid would bring you your service papers for a couple of strawberries. Yeah. A banana and some dried or freeze-dried strawberries, and I'd be served. What's that? That's your eyebrow. Here, come here. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're heavy. Oh. What you doing? You're not touching my mic though, okay? All right. Then we have the well-written girl. Sorry, y'all. Baby squid raid. Did you notice the process server asked the cop his name and said what he was going to do back? I did not. Oh, not peanut butter. Nutella. Hey, common sense. We started reading Reddit threads because we needed something to laugh at that wasn't like beat our head up against a wall. So we started reading malicious compliance Reddit threads and petty revenge because, you know, petty princess here. All right. Everybody knows it's Elephant Shoe and Jeremy Hales versus everybody. And this right here is the interesting one because, you know, I have a personal belly. What's in your belly? I know. She's so damn big. She went from 3 to like 2 to like 3 or like 3 to 13. She thinks she's so big now. Plaintiff's response and the judge's motion for Jeremy to file a response, the response was due tomorrow. He filed at 8/7. You know that Jeremy or that Randy had this shit almost ready to go because it seems like Randy can see this crap coming. Yeah, Stupid Dave is the only one left to be served. And for those of you who weren't here on our last streams, I know that Jeremy put out a $1,000 reward for anybody who could find him. I am originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I put on my personal Facebook page Jeremy's offer David's name to my personal friends and family who all live in Milwaukee area. So there are a bunch of people who are looking for him in Milwaukee and are giving him information or emailing Jeremy with information when they find it. So I don't know who else has emailed Jeremy with information, but I know at least one person who has emailed Jeremy with a lot of information. She doesn't, but we have one in our room. She's just Angel. I love you, girl, but you gotta sit still. You sit still. You want your? You want to sit back here? Oh, Angel, you want to go get a banana? You want a banana? Okay, go get the banana from the counter. It's on the counter. You know where it is. Okay, go get it. Mama, open it for you. Okay. See you. They say he's in Kansas. Well, the last time he streamed, word to the wise, don't wear glasses when you stream if you don't want people to see what your entire room looks like. Just a little trick. If you have a ring light or bright monitors and glasses, make sure you're not in the same room, just rearranged. Because y'all, there's some nosy ass people in this world, and they will look and blow up and enhance your It's right here, baby. It's right here. It's right here. You're good. It's okay. They will blow up and enhance your glasses and look at the reflection to see what your room looks like. He leaked his application for a protective order through FLISA last night that he wrote on the same day he got a letter out practicing law without a license. Brilliant. Oh, good Lord. Hi, Jude. How are you? All right. Let's see what he has to say. Plaintiff's response in opposition to defendant Robert Kesey's motion to quash and motion to extend time. Plaintiff Jeremy Hales respectfully submit this response. Defendant Kesey has filed a motion to quash service of process, claiming that service was improper and this court lacks personal jurisdiction over him. However, the evidence demonstrates that service was proper under both Florida law and federal rules of civil procedure. This is because defendant Kesey deliberately evaded service, and the process server took reasonable and appropriate steps to effectuate service. This means the court should deny defendant Kesey's motion. Illegal standard. It is true that under federal rules of civil procedure 4E2A, service may be accomplished by delivering a copy of the summons. Oh, hold on. Dan Davis, thank you for the $5 super chat. Squid, I know this is off subject, but did you see the flash flooding in Milwaukee? Yeah, I have friends and family who live there. Friends' basements are flooded out. I have a couple friends who were in Hawaii at the time. Their basement is destroyed. Their finished basement, I should say, is destroyed. It is bad. People were out of power. They canceled the last day of the state fair. And I don't know if you know Wisconsin, but we love our state fair. Like, we love our state fair. And Wisconsin is the day where veterans get in free. So they closed the last Saturday night early and they canceled Sunday. So it was bad, but yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. But thank you for helping ensure I don't work for free, to Dan Davis. You were the first super chat of the day. Oh, it's a light day. It's a light day today. Service may be accomplished by delivering a copy of the summons and the complaint to an individual personally, but in-hand delivery of the relevant papers is not a requirement for personal service under Rule 4E2A. Frankel v. Klein, Eastern District of Pennsylvania, March 21st, 2016. This is because when a defendant attempts to evade service, courts have consistently held that a strict hand-to-hand transfer is not required. The law is clear that leaving papers in a defendant's physical proximity is usually sufficient if 1, the defendant actively evades service, and 2, there is a clear evidence that the defendant actually received the papers at issue when allegedly served. In fact, Hanley v. Olin Corp., Florida 4th District Court of Appeals in 1971, the District Court of Appeals stated, a person within the jurisdiction has an obligation to accept service of process when service is attempted reasonably. And he claims that he was only attempted service twice, but how many times did people actually try to serve him when he didn't answer the door, wasn't home? Any number of times in that initial 90 days. Just I don't know. You have family there? Yeah, me too. It's a good place. It's kind of taken a turn in the last few years, but overall it's a pretty good place. Haney v. Olin Corp. Citations omitted. As will be shown above, defendant Kesey did his best to avoid obligation to accept service of process. Defendants should not be permitted to avoid their obligation to accept service of process and defeat service through evasive tactics. Thus, it should come as no surprise that Florida law provides 4 alternative service methods when a defendant conceals their whereabouts. Florida statutes permit substituted service when an individual or business entity conceals its whereabouts and the party seeking service has exercised, quote, due diligence to locate and effectuate personal service. Florida statute 48.1614. And here's the thing about Jeremy's YouTube channel. I know Jeremy talks about this court case a lot. It's not the only thing he talks about. However, the benefit of talking about this court case is he has documented proof of when things were served, what's going on, are they able to find people, all of that. He has I was talking about this back in, February of them not being able to find so-and-so or him evading service or, so he has documented evidence. It's yeah, I saw pictures outside of AmFam Field, as it's called now. 94 outside of AmFam Field never gets that flooded ever. So Jeremy talking about this, he has documented timestamps where he said, I tried this, or we're working on this, or they said this on their podcast last night. Even though a lot of people don't watch the Fleas, you can go back and find, Gator Puss said something about a certain time when it can happen. Yeah. Argument, defendant actively evaded service of process and stated it in his affidavit like a dum-dum. This is not legal advice. I haven't played my warning. Do not contact anybody in this, but like this is not legal. This is not legal advice. However, Robbie, if you're going to do something, don't talk about it. Don't put it in a document. You just told on yourself. Our favorite thing now is yelling. Her favorite thing now is just just to yell for the sake of yelling because she can. Please stop. Hey, boo boo. Hey, can you go throw your banana peel in the garbage? Please. Garbage, please. Oh, my goodness. Ow. Well, go throw it in the garbage. Oh, no. Sorry, I just had to check my security cam and try to get her to stop yelling. YouTube is asshat. Disclaimer. Did you bump your leg? Yeah, how about we don't do that? All content is opinion-based and for educational and entertainment purposes. Opinions expressed are not medical, legal, or political advice. Yes, and I am not a lawyer. I have never claimed to be a lawyer. I am wanting to go back to school to possibly become a paralegal. So all of your super chats, like after I pay for, internet and all the things that go back into the channel, all extra is going into savings to pay for possible tuition, because shit ain't cheap and I'm all out of VA benefits. So, and I don't want loans. So we gonna start putting effort into making content to earn money for school. Cause yeah. But that won't be until she starts school. So yeah, best political advice, not to be a politician. Depending on where I go, it's a few $1,000s, depending on what program and how many classes I need, because it's will take my general ed stuff and my life experience and my military experience and put that into classes, and others will not. So I have to do research, but it could be anywhere from like 1,000 to 2,000 to 5,000 a semester, depending on what school. So, but we're just starting to look back into going to school. So, because I'm kind of having FOMO of everybody going back to school, and I know that I will never go back to working in occupational therapy again, which is a little sad, but at the same time, COVID kind of ruined that for me. So, defendant actively evaded service of process. Plaintiffs have previously demonstrated that several attempts at service of defendant Kesey were unsuccessful due to his residence being blocked by a locked gate. That they attempted service to defendant Kesey at a public location where he was known to frequent, but were again unsuccessful after being told defendant Kesey no longer frequents these locations after being served there in a related case. And 3, that a private investigative service was used to finally effect service on defendant Kesey, who fled from the process server in a vehicle. I have no idea. That's one of those stuff we're looking into. So I'll pass. I will definitely pass. Yes, this too. Yes. Yes. Don't vote on personality. Vote on process and like platform. There we go. Love Colorado Technical has a great military discount and online classes options. Love my instructors. I was looking at like Maryland on global and stuff like that, or stuff like that. But it's a I'd probably go back for like legal, like paralegal, because I love it. I love the law, and I love I'm not a paralegal, I'm not a lawyer, but I love reading about the law and learning about the law and letting other people know about the law, because we can't hold our politicians and our we can't hold anybody in any leadership position accountable if we don't know what their jobs are and what they're supposed to be doing. And you can't make someone follow the law if you don't know what the law is. Yeah. Yeah. So, and hey, old school racing, how are you? Old school racing makes me think of when I was a kid. All right. Defendant Kesey is incorrect to the number of prior attempts to serve him. Let there be light. This is because the following 5 other attempts were made to serve Defendant Kesey. See Affidavit of Jody Rainey, attaches Exhibits 1 and 2. These are all the times when he was attempted to be served. May 10th, 12:39. Server left card, locked gate. So left a card, you know that you were tried, you were attempted. 19th, 10:11. Locked gate, locked 5:23, locked gate, 5:24, locked gate, 6:30, flea market. Went to office as described to the vendor booth, showed her a picture of subject, however, subject not familiar. She stated to the vendor was in a different building. I approached the booth, no subject. I showed vendor picture of subject and asked if it was his father. He stated no, it was his friend. I then asked if he would be coming today, stated no, he hadn't been to flea market in weeks. Then asked who I was, identified myself. He then told me to step away from his booth, screaming for security. Oh, wow, what a bitch. What a bitch. Like, I'm sorry, what a bitch. Oh, we need that Goggins quote that says, you're just a bitch, because men don't do this shit. Men are too busy hustling to be a bitch. Men don't do this gossipy shit. You're just a bitch. Like, this ain't no after school special. You're just a bitch. Oh, my goodness. Yes, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Yes, I agree with that too. But we also can't hold people accountable if we don't know what they're doing. So, but that's a discussion for another time. So, hey Heather, how are you? How are you? All right. Found security. The vendor was escorted back to his booth. I left at 11. Process server / private investigator Eugene Griffin's affidavit establishes that defendant Kesey deliberately evaded service. On July 15th, 25, the process server observed defendant Kesey leaving his residence and got his attention by waving the summons and complaint papers at him. Despite making eye contact, defendant Kesey continued to drive away, leading the process server on a less than 10-minute chase around town. During this pursuit, the process server made several attempts to get Kesey's attention by flashing headlights and attempting to pull alongside him. But defendant Kesey repeatedly maneuvered to prevent service, even driving onto a curb to avoid stopping. Courts have consistently held that good faith efforts at service are particularly effective where the defendant has engaged in evasion, deception, or trickery to avoid being served. The rules governing service of process are not designed to create an obstacle course for plaintiffs to navigate or a cat and mouse game for defendants who are otherwise subject to the jurisdiction of this court. Ali v. Mid-Atlantic Settlement Services, District Court of D.C., 2006, quotations and citations omitted. Rather, the rules governing service of process are utilized for the purpose of providing a likelihood of bringing actual notice to the intended recipient. An actual notice satisfies the due process notice requirement and provides the court with personal jurisdiction. All I can think of is subject matter jurisdiction every time that I hear that. Where the defendant receives actual notice and the plaintiffs make a good faith effort to serve the defendant pursuant to the federal rule. Service of process has been effective. Good faith efforts at service are particularly effective where the defendant has engaged in evasion, deception, or trickery to avoid being served. Even though a defendant refuses physical acceptance of a summons, service is complete if a defendant is in close proximity to a process server under such circumstances that a reasonable person would be convinced that a personal service of the summons is being attempted. See also Novak v. World Bank, DC District or DC Circuit 1983. When a person refuses to accept service may be affected by leaving the papers at a location, such as on a table or on the floor near that person. Here's the thing. There's a phrase in there that is no longer, it's acceptable to the law, but reasonable person. If there's one thing I figured out about a lot of people involved in this situation, reasonable does not describe their personalities. Oh my goodness. I would find it odd, and I don't say that enough, if the PI server did not have a dash cam. Yeah, that's true too. And hey, Auntie Am, how are you? Who pays for the 2 officers to come out for a gate extracted by painter's tape? Taxpayers. A new dirty word. Yes, a new dirty word. We've gone from common sense as a dirty word. No offense to you, common sense. You're common sense 2.0. Common sense and now reasonable person are the two curse words in this world. Roosevelt Land LP v. Childress Civil Action, U.S. District, D.C. District Court, July 5th, 2006. This is especially true in this case because the defendant Kezi's wife works for the local sheriff, who was advised in advance by plaintiff's private investigator of his presence in staking out defendant Kezi's home, which was gated. The clear interference is that defendant Kezi knew that the private investigator / process server would be leaving from that area around defendant Kezi's home around 6 p.m. But it was at that time, 6 p.m., that defendant Kezi thought it would be safe for him, and then he emerged from his bunker. See affidavit of Eugene Griffin. It was later learned that while Mr. Kezi led the server around town, he called the Sumter County Sheriff's Department, where his wife, Michelle Newell Kezi, is also employed. Conflict of interest. Furthermore, a part of the protocol, the server called into the Sheriff's Department to inform them of the area they're working in for the day and how long they'll be on site. Mr. Kezi did not leave his residence until approximately 6 p.m., which is the time the server informed the Sheriff's Department their day would probably end. This means the defendant Kezi's actions waiting until 6 p.m. before leaving and then deliberately avoiding the process server, driving evasively, and calling law enforcement rather than accepting service constitute precisely the type of evasion that courts have found justifies alternative service methods. I mean, it's just like my other part of this is like, we've seen enough grifting for money where we've seen enough grifting for money where figuring out your defense and paying for things shouldn't be an issue. So that, put that aside. But if you think you are correct, and all these people on the anti-what the Hale side think they are right, why are you evading service if you think you're right? If you think you're right, just defend yourself. Provide your facts, provide your discovery, prove that Jeremy Hales is wrong, and stop delaying, and just take this as your opportunity to prove Jeremy Hales is a liar and wrong and this and that and whatever you think he is. But the fact that they are evading, delaying, shows me, just from the layperson's perspective, who honestly, I didn't know who Jeremy Hales was before he went on Megan's show. If you are right, why delay? That is what I don't understand. Like, if you think that you are so in the right, prove Jeremy wrong. Prove Jeremy wrong. Show that Jeremy is a liar. Show that Jeremy is stupid or this or that or whatever you think that he is. Whatever you have called him, whatever you feel like it is your grift and your, I don't know, your insult of the week, whatever they're doing. Like, it just, yeah. SB 9980, thanks for the $2 super chat. You can't make this stuff up. No, you can't. Like, and it's just one of those situations where it's like, just when you think it can't get any more ridiculous, here we are. But if you think Jeremy Hales is so wrong for all of these things and you are 100% right, turn over your discovery, provide your evidence, and just see and show the world, see, he's wrong. And they can't. That's why and that's why no matter if I am friends with Jeremy Hales, I'm not friends with Jeremy Hales, I like his content, I don't, whatever, no matter how you feel about Jeremy Hales, the facts in this case are on his side. As what has been shown to the court so far, the facts are on his side. And that's what they can't get over. But instead of just admitting you're wrong and trying to make amends and being like, sorry, can we I apologize for my part in this. What can I do to make it right? You double and triple and quadruple down on the BS, and here we find ourselves. Yeah, and Annie, thank you for the $5 super sticker. I appreciate you so much. And Jeffrey, you bring up a really good point too, but it's costing Jeremy money to send the process servers over and over and over. Touche. Like, going on the flea stream every night and saying that I have not been served yet and bragging about it doesn't help things. Yeah, and you know that Jeremy is recording every one of those streams. Or if he's not, somebody is sending him. There are enough people who hate watch them, who screen record and screenshot and, all of that I'm sure there are people, his email box, I'm sure, is filled every day with screen recordings of people saying stupid shit. There's got to be thousands and thousands and thousands. Yeah, I had high hopes when MLS replied professionally and logically. It all fell apart right after that with Fed 2. Do you notice the only two people in Federal 2 with lawyers are the lawyers? I don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Watching the haters end up in jail. It'll be the last episode of Seinfeld. Hey, King Bob, just wanted to say hi. Sorry, can't stay. Having another day of anxiety. I'll give a membership if it lets me. And thanks, King Bob, for the one gifted Squid Pro Quo membership. I appreciate you very, very much. And Sonar Mark got that membership. By dodging service, they are trying to increase Jeremy's costs and delay the court case. Yeah, but the thing about it is, I know that's what they're trying to do, but the logical side of me thinks that is the dumbest thing they can do, because, and this is why, and y'all feel free to agree with me or disagree with me on whether Jeremy will actually see any money. But when everybody loses this case and owes Jeremy court costs and legal fees, they will be paying all these fees that Jeremy is currently paying now to file all these motions and all the process servers and all that. So I see everybody's point, and I agree with you guys that they're trying to cost Jeremy money. However, on the other side of the coin, when they lose this lawsuit, because everybody knows the facts are not on their side, especially when you go on a live stream and brag about it. That is why you don't talk shit about other people online, because the internet never goes away. You don't go online and talk shit about people. Yes, you can feel free to disagree with people, but you don't disparage people. There are certain lines you don't cross, because the internet never goes away. You don't have mental breakdowns on, if you're having a rough mental health day, stay off the internet. In the sense of like, if you know that you're going to have a breakdown or you're going to snap at somebody or you're going to like, you know, cry or, you know, just because you're having a rough day, but it's probably not a good day to be on the internet because that shit never goes away. It's just a it's like they're going online and talking about it. They're filing all these delays. The more they talk and the more they delay, the less the facts are on their side because they're putting in more evidence that goes against their own case. And it's like, y'all, like it's uh, yeah, and I'm just wondering Fed 2 is going to be Discovery is going to be messy. Um I'm just wondering how many different people's streams and different screenshots and thumbnails and this and that um, are going to end up in Federal 2's Discovery. I'm just, you know. And Chris Clemens, thank you for the 5 gifted Squid Pro Quo memberships. I appreciate all of you. They went to, let's see if I can see who they went to. Deftones, Andy, Dose Reality. If you haven't checked out Dose Reality's channel, you really should. She was on here on Sunday. She was on here on Sunday. You really should check out her comment or her comments and her opinion on this. Don Leopold, Janice 2185, Dee Dee Lechuga, and Chris. Thank you. I appreciate your content, Squid. I appreciate you so much. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all, because like you can have a channel, but if nobody watches, like it kind of doesn't do anything. It's yeah. Garnish tax returns, income, and other sources of income will take a lifetime if JH prevails, with no way to discharge that debt due to initial conduct caused it. Yeah, the irony is Judge Grudge could have stopped all this before it started. Yeah. Jay's link, I don't how do I not have Jay's link? I don't have it in here. I don't have to search for it. And Heroes Chris, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Hit that like button. Messy is an understatement. They deleted more than they currently have. The problem with that, though, is you might delete it, but your service provider does not. When you're technologically not savvy, the cloud keeps a lot of things that you don't realize. Like I logged into an old iPad and found text messages that I had from years and years ago of people that I no longer speak to. Not that we're not friends anymore, but like you just lose touch with people. And I'm like, oh, I forgot I had that person's number. I'm just like, oh yeah. So so there's that too, you know. Yeah. All right, getting back to this. So she turns on my light and then leaves. So and I hate that light. I call it the boob light. It's the basic builder grade basic light with the little knob on the bottom. Looks like a nipple. I call it the boob light. And I hate it. It's too bright. It's gross. It's ugly. I call it the boob light. I need to get a ceiling fan in here. How do you have a house in Georgia with 2 bedrooms with no ceiling fan? What the hell? Service was properly effectuated despite defendant's evasion. After Kesey successfully evaded personal service through his driving maneuvers, the process server took appropriate steps to complete service by posting the documents at defendant Kesey's residence and later delivering them to a resident family member. The process server's affidavit states that defendant Kesey's daughter arrived at the residence, was informed about the summons and complaint, and took the documents inside. While defendant Kesey disputes this account, the process server's sworn affidavit should be given significant weight. The process server's detailed affidavit describing the attempts to serve defendant Kesey and ultimate delivery to his daughter provides strong evidence that service was properly effectuated. And honestly, the fact that he is able to write the motion that he did, knows that's another thing. The fact that he was able to write that motion knows that he's being served. And it's like telling on yourself. That whole motion was just him telling on himself from the title. Because you knew you were being served. And instead of just being a man and accepting service and fighting your battles in court, you choose to evade service, complain to the judge that you weren't being serviced the right way, even though you knew you were being served, and you could have. You've seen the complaint. You've been on multiple channels where you've seen the complaint, and not like Robbie will ever watch this because, whatever. But you've seen the complaint. You've seen the complaint. You've watched enough channels. I guarantee you, people are hate watching, so they've seen enough channels. Hey, Palmers, you've seen enough channels where this has been read. You knew you were a defendant, and you instead of taking service, you were a little bitch, and you cried about it, and you cried to the judge that I wasn't served the right way. Be a man and take the fucking papers. Yeah, also wasted police resources. Yeah. Like, hey, Jen. It's just, as soon as she physically had the summons, he served. Yes, that is. Alternate service methods were justified by defendant Kesey's evasion. When a defendant actively evades service, courts have consistently held that strict hand-to-hand delivery is not required. American Indoor Football Association v. Lockwood, Middle District of Alabama, 2010. The federal rules of civil procedure provide that a plaintiff may perfect service on a defendant by, quote, delivering a copy of the summons and of the complaint to the individual personally. Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 4E2A. Under this federal rule, quote, a face-to-face encounter and an in-hand delivery of the papers is not always essential. For a Charles Allen Wright and Arthur R. Miller, Federal Practice and Procedures, 1095, 3rd edition, 2002. Indeed, if the defendant attempts to evade service or refuses to accept delivery after being informed by the process server of the nature of the papers, it usually is sufficient for the process server to touch the party to be served with the papers and leave them in the defendant's presence. Or if touching is impossible, simply leave them in the defendant's, physical proximity. Reading is hard. See E.G. Villanova v. Solo, 1998, U.S. District, Lexus 14689, Eastern District of Pennsylvania, September 1998. Service effective when, following defendant's evasion of service, the process server, quote, announced that he was putting the summons and pleadings through the mail slot in the front door, and did so. German Free Bavaria v. Toyobo Company Limited, Western District of Michigan, March 2007. In reviewing relevant case law, the court finds there is adequate case law to support a finding that service is proper when a defendant attempts to evade service of process and the papers are left within his control but not in his hand. See Hannah v. Plummer, 1965, or Supreme Court, 1965. In-hand delivery is not required for personal service of process. Roth v. W.T. Cowan, Inc., Eastern District of New York, 1951. Service sufficient when papers left on seat of defendant's vehicle. Ninth Circuit, 1956. Aaron v. Connell, Ninth Circuit, 1956. Papers pushed through a hole in a screen door when defendant was hiding inside. Hey, good afternoon. Oh, it's already 1:30. Jeez. In this case, these cases establish that when a defendant attempts to evade service, leaving the papers in the defendant's physical proximity is sufficient. In this case, after defendant Kesey evaded personal service through his driving maneuvers, the process server reasonably posted these documents at defendant's residence and later delivered them to his daughter, who is over the age of 15 and resides with the defendant. See affidavit of Piper Kesey. Angel, you want? Well, come here, baby. Palmer's Archer, thanks for being a member for 9 months. Our first great-granddaughter will be here. Will be a week old at 6:13 p.m. Oh, how cute. Help you? Help you? Okay, I see. Oh, yeah. I gotta go do mama duties. I will be right back. Grab a drink, and I will be back in a hot minute.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals that take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The best we ever had, and we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. Running wild, we're gonna be, we're gonna
your patience. Oh, your pad died, and then our pad died. That was Oh, it's okay, beautiful. It's okay. Mom, just have to do mama stuff. Because, you know. Oh, it's okay. I know. This is what happens when it doesn't get charged. It's okay, beautiful. Oh, my goodness. Angel. It's okay. We haven't figured out that batteries, when used a lot, die. Here, Angel. Here. You can have mommies. You can have mamas. Okay. Don't have mommy. It needs to charge. It doesn't work right now. How is everybody doing? Thank you for your patience. It's greatly appreciated because I love you guys, but she comes first. Yeah. Here you go. Can I have a kiss? Can I have a kiss, baby? You are okay. It is okay, I promise. It is not the end of the world, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Here, get a drink, baby. Get a drink. Calm down. I know, telling a woman to calm down, no matter what the age, is never a good thing. That was messy. Oh, that was like infant. That was like newborn. Ugh. Ugh. Oh my goodness. How is everybody doing? All right. Lisa needs to judge co-grifters better. They're not loyal or scared of her as much as her being victims. Yeah, and that's I don't know. And that's part of why I run by myself, is because, like, it's just, there's less drama and, like, less chance of getting sued if you just stick to yourself. Like, it's just so easy to just, nope. All right, let's get back to this and finish this up really quick. I'm eating currently, but Robbie uses his wife as a shield so much he thinks he's above the law. It's kind of sickening. Yeah, there's a lot of people who think they're above the law. And hey, SMN, how are you feeling today? Oh, SMN, I just want to give you a giant hug. SMN, I really hope that you heal fast, because if you're the praying type, SMN is another one who could use your thoughts and your prayers right now. So, for health reasons. Alrighty. I just like how Randy or Dorian or whoever's writing this is using his daughter's words against him. It's like, be careful what you put or who you get to put an affidavit in, because be careful what you say, because your words could always be used against you. The process server's affidavit should be given greater weight than a defendant's self-serving declaration. I love the way this is written. Defendant Kezi's attempts to contradict the process server's affidavit with his own declarations and that of his daughter, however, greater weight should be given to the sworn statements of disinterested process servers than to the self-serving declarations of defendants seeking to avoid jurisdiction. Here, the process server's detailed affidavits describing multiple attempts to serve defendant Kezi, including the specific evasive driving maneuvers defendant Kezi employed, provide compelling evidence that service was properly attempted, that defendant Kezi was deliberately evading service. Yeah, while endangering the general public. Like, let's not forget that. When you are doing these evasive driving maneuvers, you're putting random people on the road is safety in jeopardy. You're risking hurting other people who have absolutely nothing to do with this. Like, that is criminal. That is reckless driving, and you should be arrested. Like, the process server's affidavit also details that Kezi's daughter removed the summons and complaint from the gate and took them inside, which constitutes proper service under Florida law. While defendant Kezi and his daughter dispute this account, their declarations are self-serving and should be given less weight than the detailed, contemporaneous account provided by the process server. The court has personal jurisdiction over defendant. Because service was properly effectuated despite defendant Kezi's evasion, this court has proper jurisdiction over defendant Kezi. Here, the process server made multiple attempts, good faith efforts to serve defendant Kezi, and defendant Kesey clearly has actual notice of the action, as evidenced by his evasive maneuvers and his filing of the present motion. Yeah, and notice the police went after the process server only, not Robbie. Another example of abusive police. Yeah. I'm all for backing the blue, but I'm also not above calling bullshit out or where bullshit needs to be called out. And this is the time where bullshit needs to be called out. Like, oh, now SMN can kick you with his cast. Yes, SMN can be the the winner in the one-man butt kicking contest. Or one-legged butt kicking contest. Hope everyone is having a blessed day. Do yourself a favor. Don't ever pick a fight with your ladder. If you own one, it will get the best of you. Yes, I have vertigo, and that is why every time that I get more than like 3 or 4 steps on a ladder, Mr. Squid won't let me. I wanted to clean out the gutters one time, and he goes, "You lose your balance sometimes standing up from the couch. I'm not letting you climb on a ladder to clean out the gutters." Okay. I will take that Now, what's illegal about going up over the curb and driving down the sidewalk and turning onto the next street? I mean, that seems legit. You heard it here first. No. You heard it here, Big Al. You know. You heard it here. Rizilla. I hate these names. I like Rizilla's realm better. And it took me a second to get the pictures. Hey, this is my stepladder. I never knew my real. Hi, Devil Dog Cody. How are you? Your leg got wrung as opposed to your bell. Yep. Yeah, the former figure skater now stands over or falls over standing still. Yeah, I do. The brain moves a little bit, or the head moves a little bit faster than the brain is ready for, and woo! Yep. Yeah, that's a blood pressure issue, though. Mine is a brain issue. There's different reasons for it, but yours sounds like more of a blood pressure regulation issue. Mine is my brain is just not working all the time. That's what brain surgery will do to you. It just screws you up. For the foregoing reasons, defendant Kesey's motion to quash service of process should be denied. The evidence demonstrates that defendant Kesey actively evaded service and the process server took reasonable and appropriate steps to effectuate service despite defendant Kesey's evasion. Under both federal and Florida law, service was proper, and this court has personal jurisdiction over defendant Kesey. Wherefore, plaintiffs respectfully request this court to deny defendant Kesey's motion to quash service of process and order defendant Kesey to file an answer or other responsive pleading within 14 days of the court's order, not the 30 days that Kesey is requesting. 14 days. And I am petty, and my petty ass, I know the judge isn't going to do this because the judge is fair. I am not. Hi, new subscriber. I changed my @ to what my nickname was. How are you? Me being my petty self, if I were the judge, this is why I'm not a judge for among many reasons. I would deny that motion to quash, but I would also deny his motion for an extra 30 days. I would also deny defendant, or I would also put this as deny the 14 days here that the defendants or the plaintiffs are requesting for him to file a response. And I would say, you had all this time. You knew you were being served. You evaded service. I'm putting in a default judgment. But that's just me. Squid, at least you had the proper equipment for brain surgery to occur. I don't think the Hale's crowd could say the same. I mean, that is true. My brain was so big that it was falling out of my skull by 7.5 millimeters. Just saying. Just saying. How do you claim you were never served if you actually tell the courts you were never served? And the only way to get where you were to respond as if off the papers you were never served with. That sounds like a really good video that you should make. And I can't wait to see it on your channel, because that sounds like a whole lot of fun. All right, so 14 days from whatever this judge puts in an order. I have a feeling the order should be in sometime this week. It's not in yet as of this morning. However, that being said, it should be in. And then, of course, we have all the return of non-service, the summons, another summons. So we have all the evidence in the exhibit. I mean, the fact that was due the 14th, which is tomorrow, and Jeremy had it in, or Randy had it in on the 7th, says a lot. Says a lot to me. You would make a really good no bullshit judge. That's what Flash Fan keeps telling me. See, I'm a very by the book person, and that's the thing. Because I worked straight out of high school. You know, high school, you kind of got to be by the book because that's the only way to pass. I went straight into the military. Military, by the book. Military aviation, by the book. They freaking, the publications have how to turn a screw, because you got to be that freaking stupid. I was a very by the book, like, person. Then getting out of college, or getting out of the military, going to college, starting to work in occupational therapy, I had a little less by the book, in the sense of like, there is no, I can't say there is no book, because I got a shit ton of books there and there for occupational therapy, but like, you have to kind of roll with the punches. So like when you get a patient, you can't always go by the book because every person is different. And especially when I became a lymphedema therapist, there are certain parameters that you kind of have to meet. But like, I hated the lymphedema patients that had like a heart attack. Like you couldn't drain fluid across their heart because they had CHF. It's one of the reasons that the whole Scott Stark thing drove me a little fucking nuts, because I worked with CHF patients quite frequently on the floor I worked with. I was on the floor with CHF patients like for 3 years. Like I couldn't go, I wanted to drain fluid from this arm that had lymphedema to these lymph nodes. Couldn't go across their heart. The typical lymphedema therapist, the protocol says you can't work with that patient because you can't drain fluid across their heart when they already have a hard time getting rid of fluid from their heart. I would go around the back or down to their groin. Takes a little bit more work, effort, time, thought, but can get the job done without going by the book. However, it's still safe. So safety and by the book, so I've always been a very by the book kind of person, or like follow the rules kind of person, because if you didn't follow the rules in aviation, people died. If you didn't follow the rules in therapy, people died. Especially when you're working on acute care in ICUs, like on neural floors where they literally have therapy to induce seizure. If you don't know what you're doing and you don't do things by the book and the rules, and you take shortcuts with safety, you could kill your patient. And that was never something I wanted to experience. So that being said, when I see people breaking stupid rules and not following by the book shit, I get personally offended. Your father and brother passed in CHF. So did my uncle. well, complications therefrom. So you aren't getting anywhere near my groin with a fertility track record. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mm. So, anyways, I am going to call this stream a day. And hi, Pickled Tank, how are you? I do have another stream set up for 2:45 where I am going to be discussing more of, and I have it all set up. It's my NTSB stream. I set it all up, girl. Guys, I'm on fire today. Look, I've even got it all like I've even got it set up, like open, ready for us to go. Like I've got it all set up. Hearing more about ATC and trying not to get angry at ATC's lack of training. However, that being said, I have us all set up to redirect over there. I hope to see you over there. I know that's not all of y'all's cup of tea, but I really hope y'all join me for things other than what the Hales, because I do think other things are important besides this particular topic. Although I'm looking into something in that particular topic, which I hope to be getting into over the weekend. I will see you guys in about 45 minutes. Y'all have a great day. And if you haven't hit that like button, share this stream out. I really am trying to get to 4,500 subscribers by Christmas. We are almost at 4,100. So 45 by Christmas, I think, is a good goal. So y'all have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm going to try to go down and get the little fed and then possibly down for a nap. We'll see how that goes. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.